Mr. President.
I have had a great conversation with the highly respected president of Syria, and all of the things having to do with Syria and that area working out very, very well. So we're very happy about it. Tom Homan, as you know, is in Minnesota now. He's meeting with the governor, and he's meeting with the mayor, I think, later. And I hear that's all going very well also. I'm going to Iowa. Some of you are coming with me, but I'm going to Iowa. And what can I say? The economy is good. It's all good. Prices are coming way down. And we have a lot of very positive news.
Mr. President, do you believe that Alex death was justified?
Well, you know, we're doing a big investigation. I want to see the investigation. I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself.
Is Kristi Noem going to step down?
No.
Mr. President, the president of Venezuela said that he has not been taking orders from you. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on there, but I haven't heard that at all. No, we have a very good relationship.
What about
I'd like to see interest rates go down. Everything else is going down. We have the energy and fuel going down. We have gasoline in many states now at $1.99. Groceries are going down. We inherited a mess with very, very high prices, very, very high prices. And I will tell you, we've made a lot of progress. So we have the groceries going down. We have the energy going down. We have gasoline going down at a record clip. And that's what I want to do. We're doing well. Well, I'm looking at that whole situation. I love everybody. I love all of our people. I love his family. And it's a very sad situation. Yeah, please. I am, yeah. I think she's doing a very good job. I think she's doing a very good job. The border is totally secure. You know, you forget. We had a border that I inherited where millions of people were coming through. Now we have a border where no one is coming through. They come into our country only legally. So you have to remember those things. You know, people forget as soon as you accomplish something, it goes into history and nobody ever wants to talk about it. We had a border that caused all of this problem. Biden caused, and the Democrats caused this problem. They allowed tens of millions of people to come in. Many of them were murderers. Many were drug dealers, drug addicts, people from mental institutions. They allowed these people to violate our country, to come into our country. And that's what we're talking about. So if you remember, we had a horrible border, the worst border we've ever had, ever in history. People were flowing through by, we think, 25 million people, not to mention drugs and everything else. And that border is absolutely closed.
Mr. President.
So well, prices are coming down. The border is really strong. You know, if you remember, I probably got elected more than anything else on the border. We had a border that was open with 25 million people coming through with an open border policy, which was insane. And that's the policy that caused the problem that we have. With all of that being said, other than, I would say, just to put it accurately, Minnesota, and in particular Minneapolis, because it's not all of Minnesota, every city that we've gone to has been, like, literally crime has gone down 50, 60, 70, 80. In Washington, it's gone down. There's practically no crime. You know, Washington is a great example, but you take a look at other cities, Memphis, Tennessee, the crime is down 78%. And you know where else it's down? It's down in Minnesota. It's down in Minneapolis, and it's down very much because of the fact that we're there. So we can't lose sight of the fact that we have to take murderers and drug lords and people from mental institutions that were dumped into our country through open borders of the Democrats, of Biden, and we're doing a great job. The other thing is, Tom Homan is there right now. He's with the governor and he's with the mayor. And I hear things are going very nicely.
How close are we to the deal of talks in Abu Dhabi that Jared Kushner this week of hell? If you're meeting with President Budapest back in play.
We're looking at some very good things happening on Ukraine and Russia.
Mr. President,
Very good things are happening on Ukraine and
on the border of Gaza, Mr. President, where do we stand on Gaza, Mr. President?
Gaza is going very well. As you know, we got the last hostage down the body of the hostage. And a lot of people thought that was impossible. So we got all of the hostages back, both living and dead. And I can tell you, you have parents that really appreciate it.
What about the everyone now, sir?
You know, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't walk in with guns. You can't do that. So, it's just a very unfortunate
Okay, it looks very cold. We know that the snap across the country, this extreme temperature snap, is punishing. The president standing out there to take all the questions. Kaylee, you and I were looking at each other as he said about that investigation into the death of the man by ICE agents in Minneapolis in that scuffle that we've all seen on video. I want a very honorable and honest investigation into the death of Alex Preddy. What do you make of it?
That was a headline, and he said he'll be watching over it. And the other headline came just after it. It's hard to hear because it's chopper talk, right, that Marine One's going. But he was asked if Kristi Noem will step down, and he said no. But I think what we just saw is the challenge that President Trump is going to have. You watch him board Marine One, and you heard him talk about Ukraine. You heard him talk about the investigation in Minnesota. You heard him try so hard to get in points about inflation coming down.
Right.
GDP was 4.4%. I mean, that's a huge number. He's going to Iowa to make this speech. But how do you drown out the noise that is coming from the media in an election year? They will contrive chaos where it does not exist. They will come up with, a negative storyline. So he's got to drive this message and drive it hard. Only he can do it.
Well, I think, Emily, sending somebody who was awarded a rank award for his distinguishable service in Tom Homan under Obama is going to help change that message, because now you have deed over feelings and gossip and political-driven messages. You have the facts of Homan on the ground in Minneapolis now, 34 years of experience.
Yeah, that longevity, that was the first thought that I had, actually, when I read that headline a while ago, which was that he represents a continuity across administrations that I hope the people of Minneapolis, and by the people I mean those decision makers and elected officials there who have contributed to a very divisive rhetoric, will appreciate at least. I'm not holding my breath per se, but he represents a lot more, I believe, than just that current office holding position. And I definitely want to cede my time to Kevin's economic thoughts, because I feel like you got cut off earlier and I was like,
hit us with the money,
so grateful,
Kevin.
yeah.
So this trip to the heartland, one of the challenges he faces is the tariffs are now starting to impact input costs for farming in a big way. And I'll give you an example. Potash was made hundreds of thousands of years ago just by chance in Saskatchewan. We don't have a lot of it in the United States. Why tariff it at all? Because all you're doing is it's increased input cost on something as a commodity that's required for fertilizer that no one else has. It's bat poo, and it was made in caves in Saskatchewan, nowhere else.
Yeah.
And so fine-tuning the tariffs would be good. Here's some other input costs that are hurting farmers. Softwood lumber. We still don't make enough. And so bananas, pineapples, all that, got to fine-tune that.
Interesting. That $12 billion that's going to farmers via Trump's administration, that's going to help. But you're saying he's going to fine-tune now, and that's going to be huge.
The inputs of tariffs.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Definitely. All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.